I hereby summon all of my imps. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. Uh, Today we got the announcement of the nerfs that are coming out, or at least one of the nerfs that's coming out. We know that Celestial Alignment is going to be on the chopping block. Most likely from the tweets that we received, it's going to now say that set each player to 1 mana crystal, and set the cost of cards in all hands and decks to 2. That's most likely what that's going to turn into. It's still probably going to stay at 8, but since everybody's been talking about this card to death, I'm not going to go over too much of that. It has pretty much been confirmed that's what the nerf's going to be. It's either going to come out on Monday or Tuesday, most likely Tuesday, because that's when the Cthulhu patch is going to come out, and it will probably be released at the same exact time. But somebody also said that there's absolutely no way that you could help out Warrior with what's going on with this patch. And that just seems sort of like a challenge to me. So I wanted to go over some stuff in Castle Nafria that you could do if you wanted to help buff up Warrior cards. Instead of doing the nerfs, I just wanted to talk about some buffs. The first one is the Sanguine Depths. It's very easy to change this to +2 attack, which would help out a ton and would be basically the same effect as Abusive Sergeant to the letter. Another one would be if you did Anima Extractor and you changed this to, instead of a random minion, it gave all minions. That could easily change how Warrior would play out of deck. Conjuring Banner, the thing about this card is just, it's only good for big Warrior. It doesn't even draw you a card, so, and draw a card on this, so it at least draws one card, draw one card, at least, minimum 1. That would be good. Riot's fun. Moving Imbued Axe from 3 to 2 would help out that card. And changing Burden of Pride from, if your health is less than 20, if you have 20 or less health, to if you've taken 20 or more damage. That would make it so that your actual, armor would come into effect, and, it's not just if you're below X health this triggers. That's kind of weird. In Moving Blade, you could almost bring down 1 mana and it'd be fine. I think Moving Blade would be, coming down to 6 would be fine. Now, are all of these going to happen? Most likely not. But you can make some changes on this. The problem is that Burden of Pride is the same mana cost and does the same thing as the Warlock card does in the set for 4. That is the Demonic Assault. Demonic Assault is a common, deals 3 damages and summons 2 1 of 3 Voidwalkers. Okay, the Warrior 1 summons 3/1 Jailers with Taunt, but doesn't do any damage, and only if they're at less than 20 health do you get them as 2/4s, which is barely even playable as 2/4s. Dealing 3 damage is way better than even having an extra 1/3 on the board. That's how sad it is that Taunt is this, underrated. So that's just some stuff you could do to Warrior if you wanted to fix some of the other stuff in Warrior from back in the day. There's another couple things you could do. I mean, pretty much anything that, helps out with armor. The thing that people forget is that Shaman at one point was a completely unplayable class, and then they got one of their cards in a mini set That was the Wailing Caverns. Let me pull up Wailing Caverns real quick. That was the Primal Dungeoneer. Primal Dungeoneer took Shaman from basically dead last to basically everybody complaining about Shaman Stone because of what it did for the Evolve Axe. You could draw the Evolve Axe, and you could also draw Doomhammer off of this very reliably, and that turned the deck from unplayable into, Metalwing. So it's not that hard to change a warrior into being, a good card, Rakara could bring down to 2. If Rakara was down on 2, Warrior would be a ridiculous, deck to fight off. Rakara down on 2, oh man. You might have a hard time just winning against that. That would be, a very aggressive Warrior deck that was based on Rakara. Let's see, what else could you do? Let's just look at some stuff for Warrior real quick and see what else would be kind of fun. Let's see. Look at all the standard stuff. Warsong Envy you could actually do something with. It's a 1/3 that gives +1 attack for each damaged character. If you made that, better, you could see this in play. This has the Frenzy on it. But it only has the Frenzy on it, This is almost Imp this is almost the Imp Librarian for Warrior. You just let that stay as not a Frenzy effect, but you're not going to change that at that point. Let's see what else. We already talked about, Anima Extractor. Bulk Up. Just give a random minion in your hand +1/+1 and copy it. That could be a change. It's not hard to change some of these stuff. Some of them are impossible to change, like Conqueror's Banner. You could put in text, brackets minimum 1, but that might make this card too bulky. Or drew your card and then revealed the cards, so you could drop the 4 to give the warrior the actual draw that it needs to get through this. Forged in Flames why is this a card? Who knows? If this just said draw cards equal to your weapon's attack, that would be, ridiculous. That would be a way for Warrior to get out of stuff, because it's hard for Warrior to get weapons. This is a harder draw to get than Impending Catastrophe. Why does Warlock get cards when it's not supposed to be a draw class, and it gets some of the most broken cards in, this card is incredibly easy to draw 6-7 cards from. You just need an imp on the board, 2 imps on the board, and you're drawing 3. You don't even have to destroy your imps. If this said destroy your imps, draw a card and destroy all imps, destroy all friendly imps on the board, draw a card and repeat, draw a card for each imp destroyed. That would be a way to really nerf this card, and would be the same thing as playing the Warrior card. You're losing a weapon on this. To maybe draw 3-4, Guard the City is fine, but even Guard the City can be brought back down to 1, It's not impossible to change some of these. Make it so that Iron Blood Garrison, only deals damage to your opponents. That would take down some of the funness of it. Playing early games. You can place this on 2, and sometimes Warlock's just gonna cry. It's not impossible to go through some of these things for a Warrior and change 1-2 things, Armor Smith is, great, but he only plays in Pirate deck, And that's the issue, you know. Clash of the Colossus. What, you know, you could just take off the everything past this point, you know, add a random colossal minion to your hand. And it costs 2 less, you know. That would make Warrior ridiculous, you know. But some of these are a lot harder to do because they actually require rewriting, I get it. But some of the other ones are easy to do. You know. After you play a taunt minion, draw a card. This could be brought down to almost 2 at this point. Or this could have taunt itself. So you could draw the other one. A card being brought down to 2 would be main Warrior would be incredibly hard to do. That alone would basically revitalize Warrior decks. So I don't think it's impossible to just buff one card and nerf one card and make a deck ridiculous. We've seen it in the past. You'd be surprised how much mana will change stuff, you know. Luna's Pocket Galaxy was originally 7. People thought it was, you know, unplayable. They nerfed it down to 5. People saw how good it was, and then it eventually had to go all the way back up to 7 for people to realize, oh yeah, it was actually broken even at 7. So, never think that a class is down 1 buff, 1 change to 1 card. 1 mana up, 1 mana down can change how cards play. So, keep an eye out for the buffs that are coming out for Warrior, because right now they're the worst class in the game. And I do think it could be Warrior Stone in a little bit here if they're not careful with what they buff up. They might try to overcorrect. So thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.